follow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Jaya Radha Madhav Jaya, Radha Madhav Jaya, Radha Madhav Jaya, Radha Madhav. Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमाद अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिविरंत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की भगवद गीता की समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru Shri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chant loudly. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Deving Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So, welcome to Bhagavad Gita class this evening. We are reading from the 11th chapter of the Gita entitled The Universal Form, text number 6, which is on the screen. Ihaikastham jagat kritsnam. Please chant. Ihaikastham jagat kritsnam. Pashyadya Sacharacharam. Pashyadya Sacharacharam. Mama Dehe Gudakesha. Mama Dehe Gudakesha. Yachanya Drashtumicchasi. Yachanya Drashtumicchasi. Yahaikastham Jagat Kritsnam. Pashyadya Sacharacharam. Mama Dehe Gudakesha. Yachanya Drashtumicchasi. Please chant. Chant. Mothers. Yachanya Drashtumicchasi. Somebody more? It is purifying to chant the Sanskrit. Ihaikastam Jagat Kritsnam. Pasyadya Chacharacharam. Mama Dehe Gudakesha. Yachanya Drashtum Ichhasi. Yahaikastam Jagat Kritsnam. Pasyadya Sacharacharam. Mama Dehe Gudakesha. Iha, in this. Ekastham, in one place. Jagat, the universe. Kritsnam, completely. Pasha, see. Adya, immediately. Sa, with. Chara, the moving. Acharam, and not moving. Mama, my. Dehe, in this body. Gudakesha, O Arjun. Yat, that which. Cha, also. Anyat, other. Drashtum, to see. Ichhasi, you wish. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Arjun, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything, moving and non-moving, is here completely in one place. Purport. No one can see the entire universe while sitting in one place. Even the most advanced scientists cannot see what is going on in other parts of the universe. But a devotee like Arjun can see everything that exists in any part of the universe. Krishna gives him the power to see everything he wants to see, past, present, and future. Thus, by the mercy of Krishna, Arjun is able to see. Mukam karoti vachalang pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham mande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam. So, by your voices and unwilling to chant, I understand you have all fasted today on Ekadashi, and therefore you're lacking energy to chant and be enthusiastic. Ekadashis are fasting days. You know why it is a fasting day? Ekadashi. The story goes in a Padma Purana that one day Lord Vishnu, he was traveling throughout the universe, and he decided, let me go by my sweet will to the planet of Yamaraj. Now, Yamaraj, he is residing in the planet where death people go. So most probably that planet is not visible by the naked eye. It is visible by people who are dead. So in your subtle body, there are also eyes which can see. Right at the moment, you might not be able to see dead people, but they might be around, especially in your big city here, in your Mahanagari. There are many dead people floating around because they don't want to go back to Godhead or back to wherever they supposed to go. But some people, they can see them even with these eyes because they have more expanded consciousness. So Lord Vishnu was traveling through the universe and he decided, let me go to my servant Yamaraj and see how he's doing. That is the duty of a president, that is the duty of a father and mother, that is the duty of a caretaker to always inquire about the welfare of their servants. So he went to Yama's palace, Yamaraj, and Yamaraj received him. My dear Lord, how did you come here? So I just came to see you, shake your hands, like we do in this day and age. So, okay, I can give you a guided tour to my planet, so see everything is according to your wish. And as Lord Vishnu was going with Yamaraj through his planet, then he also went to parts of the planets which are not so fresh, the Narakas. So when Lord Vishnu went with Yamaraj through the Narakas, he heard all these cries, "Ah, I'm suffering!" and all kinds of nasty words which people speak in hell. So Vishnu got very compassionate. He said, how is it? I exist as the Supreme Lord everywhere. I'm so compassionate, and still there are jivas suffering in this state of existence. He said, I have to do something. He told Yamaraj, I make the vow that anybody who fasts on the 11th day of the waning and the waxing moon of the month from grains and beans, fasts, from grains and beans, will not be punished to go to the narakas, to the lower planetary systems where there are great yatanas, great suffering given to jivas for their sinful activities. So as he made that vow, then Papa Purusha, sin personified, who resides in Naraka, he came running. He was a very ugly man, and he had his toenails looked like that of claws. He had hair all over his body. Every part of his body was a certain kind of sin. The sin of killing a child in the womb, the sin of adultery, the sin of stealing, the sin of lying, the sin of, sin of, stealing somebody's deposit, who gave you money in trust. You give your 10,000 euros to the bank, and the bank said, we lost all money, we went bankrupt, so I'm sorry, I cannot give you back your 10,000. And he's putting it in his pocket, and he wants to enjoy your money. All these kinds of sins. So he came running towards him, a very ugly little man, and he told Lord Vishnu, if you were meant to kill me, why did you create me in the first place? And he started crying. Vishnu laughed at him. If you wanted to kill me, all sin personified, then why did you create me in the first place? So Vishnu, he laughed and he said, okay. You also get a residential place on Ekadashi in grains and beans, right? So in all your rice and your wheat and in all your beans means dals, right? Then Papa Purusha resides. And anybody who eats that on Ekadashi, he'll be tainted with all these sins. Is that okay with you? Thank you, my Lord. I have a place to reside on Ekadashi. So that is the story in short, which is described in the Puranas. I guess it's from the Padma Purana. That on this day, Ekadashi is actually an inauspicious day, but Lord Vishnu made it auspicious for fasting. So there's another reason, more an astrological reason, or you can say a metaphysical reason, is that on Ekadashi, the digestive system is actually out of order. It doesn't properly digest, and it's better to fast on this day. A subtle reason for that is also there. And on these Ekadashis, there are different types of blessings also given. Like if you had a certain problem or you committed sin by chance, then that is Mokshada Ekadashi or Papa Mochana Ekadashi. And today is also a special Ekadashi, Pavitropana Ekadashi. So there are different Ekadashis giving you different kinds of boons. And if you desire, you can also follow Putrada Ekadashi, which comes, I guess, in the beginning of the year. And if you follow that nicely, you can have a divine son born like that. So in this way, Ekadashi has its own greatness. And by following this Madhava Tithi, then Bhakti is grown. Madhava Tithi is coming from a song of Bhakti Thakur. Madhava Tithi Bhakti Janani Jatane Palanakari. If one strictly follows Madhava Tithis, special occasions, festivities related to Madhava, means Lord Krishna, then it's the mother of devotion. And that's the actual reason we follow. We don't care so much for the papas, because every morning we have our Mangalarti and we walk around Tulsi, we chant our japa. So papas are easily washed off. But bhakti is not so easily gotten. Because even during Mangalarti, you find devotees during class. So actually nobody's yawning here, so that means it's quite interesting. But bhakti is a sign of advancement, enthusiasm. It is the Ananda portion of Satchit Ananda. That is bhakti, right? So that is there. So now we're going to discuss this verse of the Bhagavad Gita, that Arjun could see everything in the universe of whatever is there in the universe to be seen in three phases: past, present, and future. So now we know from the Vedic literature that it is a siddhi, a perfection, to be able to see past, present, and future. It's also called Trikalagya. Some call it Trikaldarshi, looking in three sections of time. So, but Prabhupada says, even the most advanced scientists cannot see what is going on in other parts of the universe. Why is that? We have the Hubble telescope, we have infrared telescopes, Röntgen telescopes, everything, and still Prabhupada dares to say they cannot see everything. Let us explore what this verse is actually pointing out. So, according to the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many types of Vishnus, many forms of Vishnu. And we're going to discuss here the Purusha avatars. There are three forms of Vishnu who actually are responsible for creation, for different states and dimensions of creation. And we can call the first Vishnu, his name is Karanodakasaya Vishnu. It is a form of Lord Krishna which is connected but not attached to this material world. What is the meaning of being in the universe, in the material world, and still not being attached? That means there is no emotional disturbance, right? So then one does not get attached. As soon as there is an emotional change by seeing something in the material world, that means one's consciousness is being affected. And that will create a resultant reaction, right? So there should be no emotional disturbance. But the emotions then, what should we do with that? They're all meant for tasting the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. That's the real purpose of the emotional body we have gotten from the Lord. So, the first Vishnu, lying in the causal ocean, he is a form of Krishna which is the border between spirit and matter. There where matter turns into spirit and transcendence turns into matter. He's lying on the border in an ocean called causal ocean. And even bigger than the causal ocean is a river called Virja River, which is the surrounding border, a three-dimensional river, a river like you can visualize it as when you were a little kid, or maybe if you're a big kid, you still do it. If you have this soap bells, you blow and then you see the bell is coming out, like that. So it is like a river, but then three-dimensional, okay? You can imagine something like that. There is a three-dimensional river, and in that river, there is a portion called Karana Ocean. And there, Lord Vishnu, means like the bell is there and there is water, and then Lord Vishnu lies in that bell, and it is floating. It's floating just like in the spiritual sky, just like a bell, right? It never broke, but it's still floating. So that is Karanodaka Sai Vishnu. It is a very special portion because everything in the spiritual world is Sat Chit Ananda, eternal, means without, not under the influence of time. It is full of knowledge because it's conscious, and it's blissful. But this portion, this cloud, is very mysterious. It is so mysterious that all of you wanted to know what's going on there. And you booked a ticket to go there. Though you were prohibited by Lord Vishnu, said, don't go there, it's not good for you. He said, no, I want to know. So that was your, stubbornness towards the Father. So, okay, if you want to go, go there. And there you found that consciousness is different. It is not Satchit Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge, and blissful. And the Supreme Father, Krishna, is lying there on a snake, snakes, and he seems to sleep. Krishna doesn't really sleep like that. And amazingly enough, there are so many golden little points of shiny things coming out of his body. He's lying there and he's breathing, and is he asleep or is he awake? Because sometimes his eyes open a little bit and closes again, opens and closes again. And he's breathing in and breathing out with the breath. So many golden little points come out, little eggs come out. And it is amazing. It's so mysterious. Those who like mystery, they went, and it is actually dark. It becomes dark and it becomes light. It becomes dark and it becomes light. Never experienced something like that in the spiritual world. There is darkness and there is light. That everything is light. So, and when you enter there, then you noticed all of a sudden that you feel very sleepy. Very sleepy. Just like in class sometimes, you feel very sleepy. And you don't notice anything anymore, as if you're inert. Then you enter that body of Mahavishnu. And then you come out of his body in a deep sleep state. Mahavishnu himself is in Yoga Nidra. Nidra means sleep, Yoga means connection with the Supreme Self. So now he is the Supreme Self. Who is he connecting to? So he is connecting to the pastimes of Krishna. And that is not because we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas, therefore we point everything to Krishna, like some people claim. You Gaudiya Vaishnavas, only Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. There's nothing else than that? Exactly, there's nothing more than Krishna. Very biased. Seeing your Ishtadev everywhere, yes, that's the point of bhakti. But anyway, the evidence comes from the Bhagavatam when the Bhuma Purusha was trying to attract Krishna and Arjun by doing some kind of special trick. And what was the trick? There was a Brahmin in Dwarka whose children were born and then immediately would die. And he would go with the children, with his dead child, to the king and blast him, Ugrasena. You're a rascal, you're sinful, therefore my children are dying, and you must commit very sin. And all the Dwarka, all the entire royal assembly was silenced by this Brahmin. They couldn't explain what was happening. Even Krishna didn't say anything. Pradyumna didn't say anything. Aniruddha didn't say anything. The big Yadava heroes didn't do anything. What was going on here? So Arjuna sat there amongst all these heroes, and he stood up. He said, my dear Brahman, I'm not Vasudeva, I'm not Pradyumna, I'm not Aniruddha, I'm Gandivdhari Arjun. I'm Arjun carrying the Gandiva bow, and I'll promise you that I will protect your child. So next time the child was born, almost born, Brahman came running to the assembly, royal assembly. Come Arjun, come. My wife is highly pregnant. And yes, child was born, beautiful child. Arjun immediately with his arrows created an igloo. You know what's an igloo? Where the Eskimos, they built a house of snow. It looks like a dome. Nobody can enter, nobody can exit. And Arjun was waiting. And despite his shield with arrows, the child remained alive for some time and then died. Immediately the Brahman, he started blasting Arjun. This rascal, he dared to stand up amongst Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. And I believe this eunuch that he could believe, who could protect my sons. And Arjun had made the vow, if I cannot protect your son, I will enter the fire. So Arjun was preparing now to build a fire pyre to enter there. And Krishna said, no, don't do that. Let us go. I'll bring the children back. I know where they are. So that's typical Krishna, right? He wants to show something. It's actually before that, Arjuna went through all the universe. He went to Shivloka to find the child. The children were not there. He went to Brahmaloka to find the child. They were not there. He went to Swarga. The children were not there. He went to the lower planetary systems. He actually went through all of the universe searching for those children, but he couldn't find them. And then when he came back, then he said, "Oh, I have to fulfill my vow. I have to enter the fire now." Then Krishna said, "No, come with me." And Krishna put him on his chariot, and together they went traveling throughout the universe. They crossed beyond the Mount Meru, and he went further and further to Loka regions. They crossed even the Aloka mountains, the highest mountains in the universe. Partially it is dark, partially it's light. The sun is blocking the sun rays from going further. Behind Loka mountains, circular mountains, there's Aloka Varsha, where there are no living entities. It's only dark. And also the modes seem to be silent there. So you can easily meditate there. There are no modes. And then crossing that, then the layers of the universe start. Earthly layer, fire, water, all these layers, they are there. And each layer is 10 times bigger than the previous one. There's 7 layers. And going there, then Krishna's horses, they were a little bit hesitant to go because there's no light, there's no direction there. Directions also have a devata, controlling devata. If they were not controlling directions, then you would shoot an arrow, it can go anywhere. Just like electrons do, you know. You shoot it in this way, and it goes this way, or even there. So there is need for a devata to direct directions. So Krishna, he sent the Sudarshana ahead, and it illuminated everything. And then he went further to all the different layers. Crossing that, then they entered a region full of light. And Arjuna could hardly see it. So Krishna blessed him. Then he saw a huge personality, the Bhuma Purusha, Mahavishnu, sitting there, lying there in his palace. It was a palace, it says there. So Mahavishnu is not just floating on the water. He has a palace. And there he says that I stole the sons of this Brahman. I stole them. Who can? If Krishna steals or Vishnu steals, how can you hold back? Like Prabhupada's father used to say, the Lord has 4 hands, you only have 2 hands. When he wants to steal from you, how much can you hold back? He has 4 hands. So he'll steal with 4 hands. But if he gives you with 4 hands, how much can you take with your 2 hands? Right? So he used to say like that. And then he said, because I was very eager to see you two. I wanted to see you in person, and therefore, in order to allure you or force you to come to me, I have stolen these Brahman's kids. So it's not just that the Gaudiyas are saying, oh, Bhuma Purusha, Krishna Supreme. No, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Karanodaka Sai Vishnu, was eager to see Krishna and Arjuna. So he's eager. He's meditating on the pastimes while he's in Yoga Nidra. That is Yoga Nidra. In his internal consciousness, he's always meditating on Vaikuntha and on Goloka pastimes. But that manifests, just like Shiva, as an inert Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham. So, as a person who is in meditation or sleeping, because his consciousness is inward, he's enjoying everything inside. And also Krishna mentions, one who can enjoy everything inside, he'll be really happy. Nobody can really be happy by trying to enjoy the external world. As much as you come, you want to enjoy, and all of a sudden the tax people come in, and take all your money away, you can't enjoy anymore. You're angry, you want to take up stones to throw all the glass windows of the tax, how you call that? The tax department of the government. Nobody likes tax, right? In Holland, you get these blue letters, When there's a blue letter, it's tax. Blue letters, blue envelopes in your mail, that means tax. And you can't say no. If you say no, the tax will increase. They put a fine on that if you don't pay. So nobody likes to in this world because it blocks your sense enjoyment, right? You think I work for it, so I have the right to enjoy. No, the government says we want to take part of your enjoyment away also, because we're going to utilize it for making all these enjoyments you want to enjoy. You want to have a nice road? Okay, you pay for it. You want to have nice highways, German highways? Then you pay for the German highways, where you can ride without any speed limit, I heard. In Germany there are. So you want all these facilities, okay, I will give you, but you pay for it. And you keep on paying till you're blue. And probably therefore these envelopes are blue-colored. Blue envelope. So that's material world. And you are in this state of consciousness. You want to see a blue letter? I can ask the boys to bring one. How do they look like? They're not very liked. Yellow. They're yellow colored. Okay. Good. So, when a jiva enters that realm from the spiritual world, it goes into deep sleep realm just like Mahavishnu. But he is not enjoying internal pastimes. He's really into deep sleep. And in deep sleep, he can't see anything. He can't smell anything. He can't do anything. Those coming from the spiritual world, thinking I could maybe enjoy there also. No, you cannot enjoy that. You have to go into a state of deep sleep. Your consciousness, your Chit Ananda potency is being turned off. Because there is, in that dimension, for you, nothing to enjoy. The Mahavishnu can manifest his palace, everything, but he's not doing it. He only did it for Arjuna and Krishna. But mainly he's lying there in a causal ocean. And the universes are coming out of his body in their original seed state. So the universe is coming out in a seed state and it has to still grow. So there is nothing for you to eat, nothing for you to see or enjoy. Then it will be very unfair to have all the senses already, your spiritual senses, and there's nothing to enjoy, right? Sociologically, he puts you in deep sleep. He puts you calmly into deep sleep. All these multiple thousands and millions, unlimited, shiny point-like, egg-like universes come out of his pores, out of his breathing. They are sometimes considered to be called also the Hiranyagarbhas, the universe in seed form. As we're discussing in the universal form, I'm discussing how they were born, these universes. And they were born like shiny eggs. And then they descend in the ocean of the causal waters. They float there. And while floating, they come together and conglomerate, just like frog eggs. I hope you've ever seen frog eggs, how they look like. And the process is very similar. They start to conjointly go together. And if you wait for some time, you see that it turns black pointed, the frog eggs. Why? Because the embryo is starting to take birth. So each golden egg has to wait for some time because the layers, they have to grow. And they don't grow outward, they grow inward, right? Should be understood properly. The universe is like that. The layers aren't growing on the outside, they're growing in the inside, right? Because the subtlest element, that becomes solidified by the process of panchikarana, and then it grows into the solidified material nature. Like the most subtlest part is ego, and then you have intelligence, then you have mind, and then it comes ether, then air, then you have fire, then you have water, and you have earth. And this way you get the 7 layers, but they grow inward, so it solidifies. And each layer is 10 times thinner than the previous one. So from this it goes thicker, and from this it goes thinner. It also indicates that there are 7 dimensional layers in the universe, and each dimension is larger, right? So the universe which we see, the innermost, which looks like a vacuum, there's nothing like a vacuum in space. Even modern day science, by their very powerful tool which they have is quantum physics, they have seen that even the so-called empty universe is not empty. Space is not a vacuum. Space can bend. Space can have holes. Space can be folded, right? Space. So it's not what we think, oh, it's not empty. Space is an element. And Prabhu mentions in the 3rd canto that the forms of air and ether can be seen. They have form, but not with these eyes. So if they have form, they also have color and taste, but we cannot see them with our gross eyes made of water, fire, and earth. They cannot see these elements, but they have. For that, you need other senses. One thing. Now, when these universes have grown like that and they are ripened, then Mahavishnu, he projects all the jivas spreading through over all of these universes. And those jivas which came out, you also, from that spiritual world, wanted to see what that bubble is there. You also are given a destined place among all these universes. Like that. But that's not all. Just like in a frog egg, a small dark point starts to exist in that universe. That small little point turns out to be something throbbing, and it turns into a head and a tail. It looks like a fish. It is curved, right? That's how a frog looks like when it's in the embryonal stage. Guess how Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu looks like. He's also lying. There's a snake-like shape. He's lying like that. And he's throbbing also. And in this way, that form of Mahavishnu who enters every universe, the universe is filled up with half water of his own body, bodily water, and he lies on that water. And it's called Garbhodaka ocean, the ocean of birth. So from the causal ocean, now we have entered into the ocean of birth, the Garbhodaka ocean. So as he entered, he becomes the super soul of each universe. Each universe now has its own super soul. Just like in a frog egg, when it starts throbbing, it means it becomes alive. Before that, it's just chemicals. They think. See, from chemicals, life came. Scientists think, but it is not like that. It's because there is some higher intelligence behind, some higher Paramatma. Mahavishnu is the super soul of all these universes coagulated like frog eggs. He's a super soul of all of that, plus the whole realm along in which he lies, in the causal ocean, the Viraja river. He's the super soul of all of that. So one soul is controlling all these universes, and he enters each universe and becomes the next super soul. And that super soul is Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, and he manifests as the Virata Purusha, the universe in person. Just like we have devatas, they personify moon, sun, water devata, Varuna. You have the earth devata, Bhumi. So they personify the different elements, and in the same way, this personality, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, he personifies the entire universe with all the elements. We're going to read in the sections, when I will discuss the Virata Purush, how the elements had a lot of difficulty in combining. They didn't know how to combine into a form, so they offered prayers. And then Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu shows them how the elements have to combine into a form. Because you just imagine, it's very strange how the body knows when you take a medicine, like paracetamol, and you have a pain maybe here. How does it know that it has to go there? Right? It doesn't know. You have a specific medicine meant to cure the liver, but it goes into the mouth. How does it know it has to go here? Something is arranging that. You can imagine if you build a robot or a puppet, you put something in the mouth, does it go to the toe to cure the toe? No. You have to put it on the toe to repair it, some glue, something like that. But you put everything into the mouth and the medicine goes where it is. Strange, right? And it cures also. Who put that mechanism there? And along with that, no robot has ever been made. No software has ever been made that can multiply itself into little junior kids, little robots. And they won't do this, because it costs money. They want money. Newer versions there. So, they notice my aversion to everything over this computers. Anyway, that's the uniqueness as Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu then comes into being, expansion of Mahavishnu. The most amazing thing is, from the third eye of Mahavishnu comes out the Jyotirlingam, the original form of Lord Shiva, in a form, like in my words, a laser light from the third eye. It's a shiny golden light which penetrates all the different universes. And that portion which enters the universe, that is called Shambhu. But there is also a portion, if you have a golden egg, because these eggs are golden, there is also some reflection which does not enter. So partially, you have seen in physics class when there is light going through a prism, partially, there is a golden egg, okay? Light is shining on that. Part of the light goes in, but part of the light also reflects. Just like on glass, there is a reflection as a penetration of that. That which does not enter the universe, that is Shankara or Sadashiva. Is a form of Vishnu which has 4 arms. And Mahavishnu himself is called Advaita. Like we have Advaita Acharya. Why is he called Advaita? Not two. Advaita means not two. He's one. But why is it Advaita? Because in that Jyotirlingam coming from his third eye, there is a combination of Shiva and Vishnu. That Shambhu, who enters the universe, takes along with him Garbhodakasaya Vishnu. So the Shiva and Vishnu together they enter the universe. And Vishnu is carrying all the jivas in him, in his body. And that Jyotirlingam is being worshipped as Shiva and Vishnu, which is in Bhubaneswara. If you go there in Odisha, you find that they put Tulsi on the Jyotirlingam, on the lingam there, and also Bel. So Shiva is there, and also Vishnu is there. So that form, the original Jyotirlingam entering the universe, is being worshipped there in Odisha, one of the major Jyotirlingams. So now, Shiva has his function. Now he's going to impregnate the material universe. He's touching, you can say like the original form of goddess Kali. Kali, the dark goddess, because the universe is dark. And goddess Kali is the Vaishnava Shakti, which is responsible. Now you have to understand, at this point, the devatas are not born yet. But it says that Yoga Nidra, that Nidra portion of Vishnu, that is Kali goddess, the energy of Vishnu. But the devatas are not born yet. So who is this goddess, which is not a Devi, which is consciousness, right? So Devi, goddess Kali, has also a higher existence of consciousness, and she can put Vishnu in sleep by his sweet desire. So that portion, she's equally powerful to Vishnu, as Vishnu is, and she is that power, that Shakti, which combines the energies, you can say the quanta, into elements, subatomic particles. She's also called in a Brahma Samhita as Samavaya Shakti. She makes the joints of the different elements. They combines into, atoms, protons. She creates all that. It's goddess Kali. So now she is being impregnated here by Vishnu, and it says in the Markandeya Purana, the Chandi Pat, which they read during Navaratri when worshipping Devi, that it was with a smile that the creation started. Now guess, everything is dark, and what can shine up there? It is the Jyotirlinga, which makes Devi smile. Her husband comes. So she's celebrating the come of the husband. So that's the smile by which the creation started, according to, nicely poetically they put it there. So now, that portion of the Jyotirlinga contains Garbhodakasaya Vishnu, they come together, and he resides on the ocean of birth. It's a causal ocean. Sorry, not causal ocean, a Garbha ocean, the ocean of birth. And he is the first male in creation who became pregnant. Garbhodakasaya Vishnu. He's a male who becomes pregnant. How does he become pregnant? Because all the jivas are in him. And he wants to come out. So they coagulate into the navel area. So he's making the principle of creation. Lives are connected from navel to next navel, to next navel, to next navel. It's not from head to head or ear to ear, no, it's from the navel. And the child also is connected with the mother through the navel, umbilical cord. And amazingly enough, that umbilical cord of Vishnu, in there are the 14 planetary systems in seed form. Bhur, Bhuvar, Swara, Jana, Tapa, Satya, Mahalok. You can see, if you have a little bit of time, I can describe the lower planets, which are so fascinating. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala. I have extensive notes on that. I'll read if I have a little bit of time, because it's already 45 minutes. So now, those jivas, they all come together in the navel, and they start pushing, and it pushes out in the form of a lotus. And the pushing force is extreme, so it comes out in the form of a lotus, and it grows, and then finally the lotus opens, and there the most pious being is born, Brahma, and all the jivas are in his body. So Vishnu is released of the urge of all these material desires of these jivas who wanted to enjoy, wanted to know what that bubble is, You wanted to know, right? So you were there and there. You were pushing out. Let me out! Let me out! Open the door! Let me. So Vishnu opened the door, and Brahma came out. And then Brahma, now he has to create. Yesterday, I think I mentioned the tapas, how Brahma was doing tapasya. So I will not repeat that. Maybe in the next classes. Then Brahma, in his body, there is this urges. These jiva want to come out. I want a subtle body. I want a gross body. Give me my bodies. So then Brahma, he takes up different moods. During the times when there is time for the snakes to manifest, then Brahma yawns, tamas, and he stretches out his body. Stretching power in a mode of ignorance, snakes are born. And when he's like in a sleeping form and saliva comes out of his mouth, drooling, and the ghosts come out of his body. They have the chant. Now the mode is right for them to come out. The consciousness is right to come out. So they're born in a mode of ignorance while he was drooling in a state of contamination, then Brahma. Then when there was great hunger in Brahma, then the yakshas came out and the rakshasas came out, who are like to eat and devour anything alive, So in this way, Brahma, he takes up different modes and different moods. And when the mood is ripe, then those jivas, they come out and they get the subtle form. Because by the subtle form, then around the subtle form, the gross form is born. According to the principle we read in the Gita also, yam yam vapi smarana bhavam tyajeti ante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of consciousness you have when you leave this body, your next state of consciousness will begin there, and also your body will be according to that. So if you can see that with your eyes, you'll see if you think of a dog, your subtle body tends to take the shape of a dog, right? It is like that. So then if you give up your gross existence and your subtle existence of a dog, that means your pattern, the blue pattern, will be of a dog, and a body will grow around that, right? From a seed into the form it has. So that is the principle, from the subtle to the growth, from the ethereal existence to the gross existence. And the mind, intelligence, and ego have chosen for a certain state of consciousness. Then the ethereal element shapes, put it into shape. And then the other elements, they grow around it. And then you create your body in this way. Then Brahma, so it is by his consciousness that he creates all these species. He doesn't go around with a chisel and a hammer and then stone any shapes, this must be a woman, this must be a man, this must be a dog, and okay, it's not like that. He just goes into a meditative state, okay, and then it's born. The jivas take up this form. So then that is how the creation starts. And also within there, from Brahma then, the Rudra avatars come. When Brahma is in a state of anger, because the 4 Kumaras didn't want to take up the Grihastha ashram. They're fanatic brahmacharis. Said, no, Father, we will not listen to you. We will sacrifice your order for the sake of pleasing the Supreme Lord. And Brahma thought, little boys, not even dressed properly. I'm their father. They're instructing me. What is this? This is the principle of not listening to the father. All kids have that. Why? Because Brahma created that. The 4 sons, which are partial incarnate, actually, they are Shakti-Vesh avatars of Vishnu's Jnana, Vairagya, Brahmacharya, these Shaktis. These are 4 Kumaras. And Brahma was thinking, anyway, okay, you choose to be brahmacharis? Okay, fine, I will see that you will become married. So they understood. This Brahma knows when we grow older, then desires will come in us. We become pubers and we become adults and they want to have children and think, okay, by the power of yoga, they stop their growth. If we don't get older, then we don't get desires in our body. We never get old. Just like in Peter Pan, right? We never grow old. Never grow old. Peter Pan, is it? Never land. So it's coming from this idea, from the 4 Kumaras. They never wanted to become old. Never. So they always stay in a form of little boys in the shape of form of 5 years. So they're never lusty. They have no problem with lust. Right? Great, huh? And they're even more senior to Shiva, because that created anger in Brahma. And because of the anger, then Shiva came out. And he came out in a reddish form and started crying. So, Father, give me my place. And then he said, okay, your names will be Rudra and all the other kinds of names, Ajaikapat, Pinaki, etc. And he needed a wife. So then Uma was created. And in some creations, it comes in a form of Ardhanarishvara. Shiva and Parvati are one body, and it splits in 2. It's like Radha and Krishna are one, as Lord Chaitanya. But in order to relish rasa, he becomes 2. Because rasa means there must be 2, and there must be an interaction of loving exchange. It's called rasa. So Mahaprabhu becomes 2. But then I said, he again became one as Chaitanya to teach us how things work. So similarly, Shiva and Parvati then, they come out. And after that, then the entire creation starts to just come out and out and out of Brahma. And in this way, then the creation is started. And then finally, that same Vishnu enters into each, every living entity in his heart, and also in each atom, the Vishnu form as as Kshirodakasai Vishnu, the Vishnu lying on the pole star, and he is pervading every atom or every subatomic particle in this universe. And in this way, the universe or the universal form becomes alive. Now, interestingly enough here, it says here that Arjun could see past, present, and future in the same place. So then the question arises, it seems that past, present, and future are an illusion. And yet, we are completely bound by this, right? Past, present, and future is all in the same place. It's not that that is the past and that is the future and that is the present. No, they are all in the same place. Krishna says here, look for everything you want to see. It is there all in one place. And Arjuna is amazed, right? As I mentioned yesterday in the class, all the things Arjuna had seen, Nivacha Kavacha, Swarga, lower planetary system, Nagalok he had been. He had fought with these Nivata Kavacha demons. He had defeated all the devatas during the fight with them in the Khandava forest. And yet, Krishna says, this, you can see here things nobody has ever seen before. That means not even you, Arjun. So he shows that there are much more things to see. So now Prabhupada claims here that even scientists cannot see what's going on in other parts of the universe. Now, why is that? Because the creation is not only on the Jagran level. Jagran level. There are 4 states of consciousness. The external consciousness of this world, like you're awake now, awake in Sanskrit is called Jagran. So when you're awake with your eyes open, you see the external manifestation of this world. And scientists can only measure this. But a bigger part of the creation is in a swapna state, in a dream state of consciousness, which is facilitated by Garbhodakasai Vishnu. So show me that telescope, show me that microscope, which can photograph dreams, right? But dreams are real. You don't have control over them, but desires are there, planning is there, all these things happen in there, in that dimension. And in that dimension, there are 14 layers of existence, 14 planetary systems. And the Devatas also controlling from that realm. That's Adidaiva, right? Jagran is Adibhautika. That is Adidaivita. And then you have another part of the creation, same creation as here as we are living here. It is the causal state, the Sushupti, deep sleep of state, where Mahavishnu is lying. And that's also part of this creation. Put the camera there and show us. They can't. So it's obvious that scientists cannot see everything what is there in the universe. And it is really like that. They're looking for dark matter. According to the calculations, their quantum physics calculations, there should be much more matter in the universe than that's seen. Where is all that matter? Right? It's there, but in other dimensions. Right? In Swapna and in deep sleep. And that all supports why planets can float. If you could put on goggles to see the subtle world, you would see how planets are being supported. They're not floating. They're not floating in space. They're floating on a substratum of matter. Brilliantly done, right? And like Prabhupada somewhere mentions, there is like ropes of wind. So, you know, ropes of wind, cyclone, doesn't it look like a rope of wind? Yeah, Prabhupada calls it the ropes of wind, made of wind. So cyclone is like, you know, wind in the shape of a rope. And what power does it have? To suck up things, to keep things up or push things down, like that. So there are forces which are visible, if you have the right goggles, to see how planets are being spinned. And they stay in a spin, you know. They don't slow down, they don't go out of their orbit. All these forces can be seen. But then if you put off the goggles, you only see like, oh, they're floating. There is no chains, there is no wires, there is no Bluetooth, there is no internet. How are they connecting with each other, right? So these connections are there, but in the other dimensions, like the dimension of earth, water, fire. So these 14 dimensions of the planets is one thing, but then they are also interacting with the different dimensions of the elements, because the elements have different powers. Earth has a certain power of solidification. Everything which is solidified in the universe is given by the earth element, Bhumi Devi. Everything which is liquid, even like earth when it becomes liquid, what does it look like, liquid earth? Anybody can tell me? When does earth become liquid and starts to float? Lava, right? Lava is a liquid earth, right? then it also gets the power of illumination, right? So in this way, the different elements have different great powers, and they all assist in the creation to manifest this world. It's already time, unfortunately. I had much more to say, but I'll end here today's class and see if there is any questions. Yesterday we were like, yes, questions. Yeah.
So, if there is no past, future, and present, does it mean?
No. It is there, but it is not. It is not horizontal. It is in one point. Neither is vertical. It's in one point. But all three are there.
Yeah, 1 point.
Yeah.
Just one dot.
Yeah, like a dot. Yeah.
Yes, 1 point. So that means we were created all together in one moment, or how?
Very interesting question. When we were created, that means when the jivas took birth in this universe, they were all created at the same time. Okay, very good question. We have to understand time in the Jagran level, in the external level of this, the wake level, is experienced as past, present, and future. And it is a force, the scientists call it the arrow of time. The arrow of time. Like it's like somebody shot an arrow of time, and it only goes into one direction. There's no chance to go back. Though the equations in quantum physics show technically it could go back also. So they could travel back in time, but it doesn't happen. Never it happened. You never saw that. It's never measured. No laboratory, no experiment has ever seen time going backwards. So they will call it the arrow of time. It's only going ahead. So that's one thing when the creation was said. So now we are coming from a dimension, the Turiya, the fourth level of dimension, Vaikuntha and Goloka, where time does not exist as here. There is no arrow of time. Prabhupada calls that the time is conspicuous by its absence. You know what conspicuous means? It's very much noticeable that there is no time in the spiritual world. Yeah, so there is no beginning, middle, and end in the spiritual world. That's eternal. Though there are activities, we are not controlled by time. So we're coming from that dimension. In the sense, you can say we're coming from a timeless dimension. Then, when it enters into the Karanodakasai realm, then actually time comes in. Because Mahavishnu, when he's lying and the universes have not manifested yet, that state is called Pradhana. It is the state of existence before anything is manifest. Now, the first manifestation in Pradhana, what is that? Time. He manifests time circle, chakra. And that starts to create movement, right? And when movement starts to come, then the pulsation of universes coming out of him into the causal ocean start. So then only time starts. So we are being injected through Mahavishnu into these universes under the influence of time. And still that time is not like pushing us because we are in an unconscious state. Even in, that's a deep sleep state, susupti. We don't notice the force of time. We don't even care the force of time. Then in dreams, there is also no sense of the force of time. But we also have a middle state. Vijay Goranga Delnitai Ki Jai. There's a middle state that in dreams, you think that you are dreaming 10 minutes. But when you wake up, it turns out to be 2 hours. So there is a so-called experience of time in dreams, but it's not real. It's not corresponding to the clock. Right?
Time is not real, but dream is real.
Dream is real, but the experience of time in a dream is not as the same as it's on a clock. Right? And then, if you can control dreams, you can travel in time. You can go back in time, you can go in the future. We call it déjà vu in English, that people can see happenings which are supposed to come yet. So they are actually traveling with their consciousness in time. And then when the physical manifestation manifests, we like to go in a time machine, like George Orwell. I don't know if you read that book. He was traveling in time. He put something there and he put a handle, zoop, and he put on a calculator, okay, I want to go 300 years in the future. And it goes 300. We like to do that. But this body is not made for this, the gross body. The subtle body can do that, if you can control. And that's all happening in a dream state. And therefore it said, dreams are real And you can do something with it when you can control your mind. Because when you're dreaming uncontrolled, then you see all kinds of things and you wonder, what will I do with all this information? There are different things you are doing in dreams. You are assimilating different thoughts. You are digesting certain emotions in order to refresh yourself for the awakening state. And yes, there are also dreams which are predictive. Now, if in dreams there is no future and past, then is the dream predicting something about the dream? No, it is predicting something about the Jagran state of consciousness, about this state of consciousness. So, and in this state of consciousness, there is past, present, and future as we're experiencing it. And we ourselves are having a multi-layer of existence. We exist both in the Jagran realm, in our gross body. We have our subtle body in a Swapna state, which is Garbhodika Sai Vishnu's level. And we also exist in the Atman stage, which is the stage of the conditioned Atman stage, which is the stage of Mahavishnu. And we're supposed to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, which is coming from Golok, and use it as a ladder to go through all the stages of consciousness, climbing through Vaikuntha planets up to Goloka, which is the fourth state of consciousness. So in that sense, I hope I have answered your question. Yeah. So it means what level of existence are you hinting at? When you say gross, then you are under the influence of time. Subtle, you are half not. And deep sleep, you're not under the influence of time. And in the fourth state, completely free from time. So we're supposed to, when we chant, go to that state of consciousness. Free of time. Like that. And it manifests, you can see, we experience when you go to sleep, deep sleep as being very calm and peaceful. Therefore, chanting should be on that level at least. And then hoping that something will be manifesting from the fourth level, your loving relationship with Krishna, and that we are, hankering for, we are working for, and the only price you have to pay, according to Rupa Goswami, is intense greed. Tatra lauli mule mekalam, to attain that fourth state, your original state, beyond that bubble where you entered, to go to your original destiny, like that.
That means that this flying in the space, like yogis are doing, flying around, to see something that makes no sense, really. I mean, sense.
Who are doing this?
Only Mahamantra exists, but all the other things are speculation, more or less. How?
No. Who are doing this? Scientists? No, you said yogis are doing this.
That's fine.
What are yogis? How do you find yogis? Yogis are yogis. Yogis are people who have more advanced states of consciousness. They might not have the highest state of consciousness. No, they have higher expanded consciousness, you see. Therefore, they can travel. Right? They can travel because of that. Mind over matter. So they can even control their body in such a way that the body will do what the mind says because they are controlling their mind. If they want to float, the body will float. Right? They chant a mantra and the body will float. Then it can travel. So yogis are very elevated beings. But like Prabhupada says, a yogi is a first-class rascal. A jnani is a second-class rascal. And a karmi is a third-class rascal. Why? After having so much understanding, these yogis, and knowing so much, they don't want to surrender to Krishna. And that is the rascaldom, you see. A karmi, after enjoying so much Krishna's property, he doesn't want to surrender. So he's a rascal. A jnani, after enjoying so much knowledge from the scriptures and Krishna's Bhagavad Gita, he even comments on it and enjoys the money from making his Bhagavad Gita commentaries, but he doesn't want to surrender. So he's a rascal. So, first-class rascal, second-class rascal, third-class rascal. And Prabhupada says, therefore, we can easily know who's a rascal and who's not. We just ask him, are you a devotee of Krishna? If he says yes, then he's fine. If he says no, he's a rascal.
But we can train this capacity.
Huh?
We can train this capacity to float, to fly, and come back.
They're part of the mystic cities.
That means that this can be trained. If
Yes.
it makes sense, that was my question.
It makes sense. There are schools who are doing this.
Why?
Because they like to enjoy material nature.
But I mean, do we need it?
We?
Because I know.
Okay. Now I understand your question.
What
Yesterday, this question.
They're praying, then they get into the state, then they fly, then they see the local, they see different, they can play with Krishna, then they come back.
You see, this question came yesterday in class that somebody asked Maharaj that, there's a lady coming for a Sunday feast and she's a lot of difficulty in accepting our process because she's so much attached to her siddhis. So she might have been some yogini and, what should we do? Preach, give up your siddhis. It's not easy to give up siddhis. It's your abilities you have. Like writing is also a siddhi. Being able to read is also a siddhi. Somebody says, give up, give up. Like in ISKCON, we preach that. Give up, give up, give up. No. There is, for everything there is its place in Krishna consciousness, right? Now, it is more difficult to accommodate for some devotees, the siddhis. But guess what? When Mahaprabhu went to Kashi to preach to these Mayavadis, did he actually preach to them? He didn't preach to them. There was no need to preach to them because these guys know scripture inside out. They can recite all 700 verses of the Gita in front of your nose and give the wrong interpretation, of course, but they can, right? Yeah. They can quote left and right. So Mahaprabhu didn't go into debate with them. How did he defeat them or convince them? By showing his mystic power, Brahma Tejas. He showed, this is what you want, right? Kashi Mayavadis, I am that Brahman. Now, surrender. And they all surrendered and chanted Hare Krishna and all, Prakashananda, Saraswati, all they were dancing. So, this is the proper use of siddhis. Right? And yogis who have greater siddhis, they can help humanity in greater ways. Right? Prabhupada also had siddhis. He didn't manifest them, but you hear from Prabhupada's disciples, his beginning, his first disciples, that we didn't have any difficulty, going to the government or to the city, city mayor. Prabhupada would say, call the city mayor and tell him Swamiji wants to meet with them. So we thought, what will the city mayor think? Just the Swami wants to see him? Anyway, Prabhupada said we will do. They called the mayor, this is Switzerland, right? Zurich. And he said, okay, what time does it fit you? He didn't say, I'm busy or I have a schedule. No. What time do you want? What time I can give? Amazing. Prabhupada is really empowered. So he went with the disciples to the mayor, and Prabhupada said, I'm seeing that the city center hall is not used very much. You should give it to us. We'll make good use of it. So the city mayor just smiled, Yeah. So when Prabhupada would say something, that anybody would bow down to Prabhupada. Therefore he's called Prabhupada, to whom other Prabhus, masters, are bowing down, right? Prabhupada to his feet. And certain occasions, Prabhupada actually showed that he was very, very powerful. And this is one of the occasions where he was convincing the mayor, and then he got this chance to, I forgot the other one. It was a beautiful one, I just lost it. On occasion, Prabhupada shows his power of, to scientists. They would come and meet the Swami, right? And to one scientist who was very, very much into, physics and all these kind of things, Prabhupada said, you just a rascal. You're just a rascal. What does your science do for humanity? It's created the atom bomb, and think Prabhupada's going on and on and on. And the scientist became so convinced, says, yes, Swamiji, I'm a rascal. I'm really a rascal. He went on like that. He surrendered to the Jagat Guru. And he also went to Russia to speak to this Professor Kotovsky, right? And then he was lecturing that I went to Russia to meet this Professor Kotovsky, and he said, Swamiji, after death, there is no life. Everything is finished. You just see. He's such a professor and doesn't even know there is life after death. But guess what happened with Professor Kotovsky? Professor Kotovsky's daughter, what's the name? Kotovsky. Kachan 60 times Kotovsky. It's not as sweet as Hare Krishna. His daughter joined ISKCON. You know that?
Yes, really.
Yes.
Kotovsky's daughter.
Yes. And she lives in Mayapur. She lives in Mayapur. And she was married to Padmalochana Prabhu, who passed away in Mayapur. She was married to Padmalochana, Prabhu's disciple. I didn't know about her till she told me, my father is Kotovsky. I mean, it's a Kotovsky Prabhupada. Yes, which Prabhupada talks about. I met her in Mayapur. She's a photographer. She had big lenses and things like that. And she's a service in Mayapur. And then, and then they asked her later that, what does Kotovsky think about Prabhupada? It was like, anyway, Swamis, they do something like, Brahmins are like that, so why should I bother? Because Brahmins have a license to say the truth, even in a rush way, in a very hard way. I've seen it also in Indian culture. If a Brahmin chastises, everyone is humbled. Nobody goes against him, right? Because he chastises by truth. And I've seen it when I'm traveling in Indian trains and people are talking all kinds of different things. Then when I start speaking, the entire compartment is silenced because the Swami is speaking. And when you say the right thing, you see everyone is contemplating on the truth. That's the Indian culture. They can speak anything, but then just like they were discussing about, yes, our economy is not going right. This is before the very much respected Narendra Modi. Our economy is not going right, and women not very treated, and this and that, and they're talking all kinds of complaints in a compartment. So I waited for a moment to speak, and then I spoke up. But who? And everyone was like, who gave votes to these people who created the situation? Isn't it you? So you're responsible for the situation. Why are you complaining? I was like, Swamiji is right. That's the Indian culture. So I have also chastised sometimes youth in Indian train, and I was like applauded for it. Surprise. His brother came to me. There's a boy who used to use my sleeper to put his shoes and then climb to his sleeper, though there is a staircase to go up. So I chastised him for that with, like sadhu words. And, his brother came sitting next to me, respecting where are you from, Swamiji, and this. Wanted to hear more. So that's how things are there in that culture. So what was the question you're mentioning? You've lost.
You have answered already.
Yeah, I have already answered the question. Anything else?
You have answered it. Thank you very much. It's a big topic.
Okay. Grantaraj Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
It was a question about the time.
Time, yeah. Maybe we can tomorrow discuss more a little bit about the experience of time, because I